In July of 2018, we were given something kind of random, an announcement trailer that Studio Trigger and Arc System Works were collaborating together to create some kind of game based on the Kill la Kill franchise. It honestly seemed like a no-brainer. Arc System Works just struck gold with their collaboration with Toei Animation in Dragon Ball FighterZ, a game that managed to bring the explosive action of the franchise and translate it into a stellar 2D fighter that is extremely faithful to its source material just as much as it carves its own identity. Now, Kill la Kill isn't nearly as massive of a franchise as Dragon Ball, and there's not nearly as much content to pull from, but if there's one thing the series does have, it's style. Jazz hands. Even at its most tame, Kill la Kill manages to keep a frenetic speed that permeates not only to the animation and action, but the pacing of the story itself. Despite the amazing character designs and backstories, characters don't actually stay involved with the plot for that long. The world is massive, evolves constantly, and delivers a full and satisfying story in a relatively short amount of time. Kill la Kill has a very dedicated fan base, but despite that, nothing's really been done with the series since its ending. The anime's initial run ended after 24 episodes, and since has only received a single OVA acting as an epilogue and a manga series adapting the anime that's gone unfinished since 2015. So the game's announcement was a welcome surprise to fans, especially considering who was involved. When we started to see some gameplay, my curiosity got piqued. The graphical style looks straight out of FighterZ, a definite plus with the way this series gets stylized. The fact that it was an arena fighter also seemed like a no-brainer, allowing for the bombastic scale of the battles to be replicated with relative ease. But despite all of this, something still felt weird. The developers also said that the story of the game was going to be a canon one to the series as a whole. An interesting idea considering how tightly told the story of the anime is. So at the time, I was thinking that Kill la Kill If was going to do for the arena fighter what FighterZ did for the 2D fighter. But upon release, the game fell into relative obscurity almost immediately. Steam charts show that this game averages around 10 to 20 people playing daily, only ever surging whenever the game goes on sale, which is sad. There is a lot that the game does really well, and it's possibly one of the most balanced and technical arena fighters on the market. The art direction and gameplay matches the show to a T. Each character is extremely unique, and even the story mode, while not amazing or anything, manages to justify its own existence as an extra experience that stays in line with the spirit of the show. So why did this game's momentum just immediately fizzle out? People are out here modding Tenkaichi 3 to this day, yet all Kill la Kill gets is some palette swaps? Okay! When adapting any property into a game, the most important thing that one must do is find the right genre that adapts what the franchise represents the best. Fist of the North Star is about our lead wandering the earth and people fighting him despite his immense power. So when it came to adapt the series, Sega made it a Yakuza game. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's, as dumb as it sounds, mixes motorcycles with the traditional card game being played. So when making a game that's adapting this specific series of Yu-Gi-Oh!, they made it a racer first and foremost. Dragon Ball's best moments are one-on-one fights between characters, so of course it gets turned into a fighter. And with Kill la Kill, I can understand how an arena fighter seems like it would be the best option. But when you boot up the game, it railroads you into the story mode. Bold move for a fighting game to completely close off a versus mode until you've beaten the campaign. There are two campaigns in the game to go through, playing through the same story once as Lady Satsuki and once as Ryuko Matoi. The idea is that a player would fully complete the story mode in order to be prepared for the multiplayer. Satsuki and Ryuko are both beginner-friendly characters that have a wide range of useful abilities that can easily be translated to the other characters on the roster. They even both have an alternative moveset, so playing as them in the campaign doesn't get too stale. Outside of their traditional 1v1 matches, the campaign has many levels where you fight a wave of covers until you eliminate them all. And paired with the relative freedom of the battle system, these are the most fun missions of the game, and the mode I chose to play whenever I wanted to test out a new character. It was also where I started to notice the problems of Kill la Kill If as an adaptation of the series. Making video games is hard, I won't deny that, I'm not good at it, but when adapting a property that isn't yours, the most important thing you can do is make it feel like your product can fit into what's already been established. The best licensed games need to be able to translate the spectacle of the property into its gameplay, so you truly feel like you are in the show that you love. And on a surface level, Kill la Kill If definitely has that. The art style, the character introductions, the special moves looks pretty much one-to-one from the anime, right down to making the insane character speeches a gameplay mechanic. Where the game lacks are the cutscenes. While they try to emulate the style of the show, show, the budget just isn't there. The cutscenes are missing the frenetic speed of the show, and the lip flaps are not matched to the English dub, which just makes everything feel janky and the story feel like an afterthought. Clothing is also extremely important to the franchise. Each character has multiple outfits used throughout the show that vary in power, not only changing their appearance, but their fighting style as well. Since Kill la Kill If is a fighting game, each character only has one version of their Goku uniforms because they opted to refine each character's individual moveset rather than creating multiple movesets for each character. In the show, characters didn't really show off their abilities to take on multiple opponents, with each one-on-one fight being more based on exploiting a weakness unique to that character rather than relying solely on their combat prowess. The only time Ryuko ever won solely on her sword combat was in a group of enemies, which are somewhat reflected in the game's cover battles. But since this is an arena fighter, the camera auto-locks on a single cover, making it difficult to effectively crowd control in a series that is all about being as bombastic and flashy as possible. And remember, this is where most of the game's fun was for me. And as great as the mechanics are, as flashy as the moves are, as impressive as it is that A+ Games made a super balanced arena fighter that still has each character acting unique, I feel that an arena fighter was the wrong genre to tackle Kill la Kill. So let's re-examine elements of the show to see what we can pull from to create a brand new gaming experience that's more reflective of what Kill la Kill is known for. Kill la Kill is a very character-driven show, but focusing on its individual characters ignores one of the most important aspects of the show, the nameless students of Honnouji Academy. The show early on put its focus on fighting the class presidents, but they make sure not to discount the students of the clubs themselves. Later on in the show, we had two major events, the Naturals Election and the Raid Trip. These put a much larger emphasis on larger scale battles, with Ryuko having to take on a very large group rather than individuals. The nameless students are meant to be disposable soldiers, all given the same design with blank stares, usually just being used as fodder for larger action scenes to make everything seem chaotic and show off the hellhole that is Hono City. Even if we see characters defeat them effortlessly, there's still a major aspect of the show that isn't really reflected in the game outside of cutscenes. And outside of the cover fights, the massive battles of Kill la Kill are never really shown off, and that mode is being held back by a fighting game engine. And when the show does focus on one-on-one fights, rarely is it ever decided by pure strength the way a fighting game is. We see Ryuko and Senketsu work together to take down each threat individually. They strategize when fighting the class presidents to beat them on their turf, and we also see that happen during the sudden death runoff election. They worked in harmony to come up with a specific way to win that fight. Fighting games don't allow for that kind of flexibility, since each character must adhere to a specific and balanced moveset. But honestly, balance is the one thing that holds Kill la Kill back. Most of the show's best moments come from a very similar place as Gurren Lagann. They both just come up with a bunch of stuff on the spot, and it almost always works or gets explained later in the show. Seeing Ryuko improvising in each battle is how she manages to get the upper hand and win. It was very video game-like in trying to find the weakness of the bosses and exploiting them in order to prevail. This even leads to Ryuko just forcing herself to have brand new power-ups such as Senketsu Shippu or Senketsu Senjin. So what genre can you think of that gives our protagonist a sword, transformations mid-battle, a bunch of enemies fodder to take down, as well as memorable bosses? Hack and slashes! Games like God of War, Devil May Cry, and Metal Gear Rising bring all of these elements to the forefront. Frenetic action and over-the-top spectacle are the main draws of the genre. Reading a boss fight and figuring out how you can leverage your skill set against them is how each boss encounter is designed. Each of these games let you build up a meter to unlock a boost in your attacks by defeating enemies and comboing effectively. And being a mostly linear adventure, it's easy to craft the story into the narrative, still allowing for the narrative of the game to work in tandem with the gameplay itself to emphasize the strength of bosses, and allow us to connect more with our character outside of seeing them get covered in our enemy's blood. And all of these elements can easily be translated into Kill la Kill. For the early game, there are a plethora of bosses to pick from, all of the class presidents of Honnouji Academy. Each one is at the highest skill level of their respective clubs, enhancing their natural skill with their Goku uniform. Every time Ryuko performs her finishing move Seni Soshitsu, she absorbs the life fiber of the uniforms and grows stronger. Collecting life fibers from fallen enemies can easily be used as a leveling system to unlock new combos and abilities as the game continues, which will perfectly reflect the growth of Ryuko in the show. Synchronization is an important aspect of Kill la Kill, with Ryuko and Senketsu needing to fully be in sync to draw out the best of the other's abilities. A sync meter could easily be filled as you fight, with your attacks getting stronger the more the meter is filled, and allowing the player to access Senketsu Shippu and Senji, similarly to what is done with something like the Devil Trigger or Spartan Rage, creating a risk-reward system for the player, sacrificing their attack power in the fight for a massive boost immediately. A hack and slash would also allow all of the other characters in the show to shine more. While they all have balanced movesets and show up in the campaign here and there, the other characters' presence are never really felt in the gameplay of the story mode. Kill la Kill If does have all its major cast members available as playable characters, but none of their best moments can be accurately represented. As I said earlier, each one has only one version of their iconic Goku uniforms. While this makes it easier to keep balance, it doesn't allow the fan service to shine through. Gamagori is my favorite character from the show, and sadly only his Shackle Regalia Mark I is available to play as, and that is actually my least favorite of all of his forms. Making it a hack and slash would allow the same characters to be fought as bosses, but with different fighting styles that the player needs to build on from what came before. These characters are always improving their uniforms, taking data from their previous battles to enhance their next uniform. Each fight would improve upon what came before, making the player rethink and recontextualize the fights each time you encounter them. It wouldn't be just plopping the same boss fight again and again in the story, it would be adding new skills to the boss with each iteration. Kill la Kill If is a polished masterpiece for what it is, but the sad thing is it just doesn't have much staying power. The game is possibly one of the best arena fighters of all time, with a story mode that has an interesting twist for fans of the series, but it just doesn't click with audiences because it doesn't take advantage of what makes the series itself shine so brightly. If you like arena fighters, I honestly do recommend Kill la Kill If, but if you are wanting a unique Kill la Kill experience, this just isn't the game to play. This video isn't me trying to bash this game because I do think it's a wonderful experience. But now I want to know your guys' take on this. Do you think a hack and slash would fit Kill la Kill best? Let me know down below, or another genre that you think the game would work with. And honest to God, this video started as a genuine review of the game before just spiraling into this script because I couldn't take advantage of half of this game's content in the multiplayer mode. So if you have this game on Steam, I would love for you to join the Discord by clicking the link down below so that I can actually see the competitive side of this game rather than just the story mode. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of what I have to say on other games and movies, then click this playlist right over there. And why not subscribe so you know whenever I post a new video. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Naked.